allegiance and title again. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Steve, Sandra, Renee, myself, and Deb is absent with notice. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes? Is there any motion? Renee? Sandra? Is there any changes or corrections necessary?
I didn't see any.
All in favor? 4-0. Thank you. So those are the floor agenda items only. Anything from the entire floor of Tim? Communications, Primex, Trish?
Thank you. I just wanted to let you know that we did receive our property and liability renewal, as you saw in the packet of information. It actually is going to be a savings for us of $2,386, or 17% over what we had budgeted.
Is there any particular reason it dropped so much, or is it just?
We haven't had claims.
That's always a good reason. Was it an industry thing, or is it just strictly us?
It was, some members received some increases, but we were part of the cap and it was below cap.
Yeah.
So it was spread across the pool as much as possible.
Awesome. That's always good news. Thank you. Administrator report, principal's report, and enrollment. Shannon?
So we are holding steady at 147. Holding steady, but at any time there could be a tick up or a tick down. So that's kind of just how it goes here. That's it. Wow. Do you want me to do my wrist?
Yeah.
So this part of the year is more like a sprint. It is a sprint, actually, with so many things going on. So the calendar is pretty busy, but I'm just going to highlight a few things that are, I think, really great things happening around the school. We have another visitor coming for the Cliff Grant on the 9th. We actually, on the 10th, are taking 5th through 8th graders to Plymouth Regional High School for a presentation about the dangers of vaping. This has become a really significant issue in schools, especially in high schools, but all of SAU 48 students, grades 5 to 8, are going to one of the presentations. The high school is going to one, and I think they may be doing one for parents in the evening, but I'm not sure. I haven't gotten any information about that yet. But letters will be going home to our students' families, grades 5 to 8 this week. So that's going to happen on the 10th. We have kindergarten registration coming up, 2 different days for that, which is going to be, we have, I think, 14 students already signed up, which is pretty typical. Over the summer, we will see that grow. We are doing state testing for middle tier students on the week of the 14th, and the following week, which is the week of the 21st, we'll do that for grades 3 to 5. We have another book fair coming up, which is kind of piggybacks with our Muffins for Mom and Donuts for Dad. So Muffins for Moms is on the 17th in the morning, and Donuts for Dad is on the 18th. So from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, come get some muffins and donuts and visit with the teachers and the kids. And it's 2 excellent opportunities to just have parents in and see them with their kids and have a breakfast together. So that's a lot of fun for us. Our spring concert is also on the 17th. Really busy set of days there. Followed by Project Week the week after that. We have the 8th grade class trip is the first week in June, the 4th and 5th. And then kindergarten celebration will be the 14th. The last day of school is the 15th. And then graduation is that evening. Our staff of the month this month, Heidi Niles and Jackie McGettigan. You know, just from your involvement with the schools, how critical both of those positions are. Heidi works so tirelessly, and she is the heart and soul of this school. She and Mr. Paquette have made such a great team, and I just want to recognize her for that. And Mrs. McGettigan, Jackie does our website. She manages so many things around here, so I wanted to appreciate her for kind of the hours that she puts in way beyond the school day. So they are the staff of the month. We had Kayla Barnes, a New Hampton school graduate and Olympic gold medalist, come and visit the kids the Friday before vacation. We did a little kind of an interview with her where we talked about how she got to the Olympics, and in a kind of a really great message of perseverance, told the kids that she had been cut from the team in April and was called back in November, and literally left Boston College her first year, withdrew from the school and headed to South Korea. So now she has a gold medal, and she spent the day in classrooms with kids and, letting them see her medal, hold her medal, take pictures of it. Many of them wanted to bite it, but we didn't let that happen. But the whole experience, that we had a welcome banner contest, so each of the teams made a banner for her, and they were so completely different, and they had their own Olympic goals, or if they were a gold medalist, what would they be a gold medalist in? And of course, Mr. Jones was the gold medalist of barbecue. So they had some really great, banners that all through the school, and she got to pick the winner, and it was just an awesome day. I think that the kids got a lot out of it, and I think she just loved being around the kids, so it was a great experience for them. A great way to end the week right before vacation, which can get a little hectic and crazy. The kids are really, really interested and excited to have her here. I wanted to follow up with the fact that we're doing our state testing. We waited this year instead of the window opened in March, but we waited. We wanted to wait to give, because it's supposed to be for the end of the school year, or it measures that school year's growth. So in waiting to do it later, I think we've talked about maybe the importance of not turning around within a week or two and giving the kids the NEWA test on top of that, because this new New Hampshire test is going to take, I think the schedule is for 6 to 8 hours of testing, but that's just the expected, and it always is much more than that. So rather than turn around a few weeks later and give the kids another test where it probably won't reflect as accurately just because of test fatigue, that we're just rethinking that. The kindergarten through second grade students will do that because they don't have to take any kind of state test. So that gives us a good comparison from their mid-year scores. So that is what we're planning on that. We have ADD training in June, which is avoid, defend, and deny. That we have someone coming from Plymouth State that Ms. Steparino has set up for us, which is really an excellent opportunity for us. So it's going to help us kind of rethink our safety procedures and processes, and will, I'm sure, cause us to review the things that we have in place and make some really good adjustments that make more sense for the situations and the safety precautions we need to take. And in line with that, we have been working on the safety plan reunification process, which has gone, I think, really well with the safety committee. And when that is finalized, we'll train staff on that in August as they come back to school. And that is it.
Awesome, thank you. Next item is financial report. Trish?
Thank you. Jennifer, you have in your packet a general fund expenditures report. We have expended or encumbered an additional $16,790 since your last report. Spending was throughout the budget, with the largest changes in regular ed and curriculum, which is very typical for this time of year. Revenues have increased by $504 due to Medicaid reimbursements. Again, with food service, same as last month, we are on track to break even. And next month, I will have for you a financial analysis of snow plowing and sanding, since we are over budget for that, but we are still waiting on a billing from the last storm that we had in April. So I will have that for you next month. If we were to close the books today, very conservatively, we would be at about, we'd have an unobligated fund balance of about $95,000. Okay.
Is that it? Any questions for Trish? Thank you, Trish. Facilities update, Trish?
Thank you. Tonight, we have a memo and a recommendation from Mr. Paquette for the roof project, which I'm going to hand out. Our next facilities meeting is scheduled for May 31st. And at that meeting, the committee will discuss recommendations for year-end encumbrances and funding for the roofing project. We had anticipated, or had an estimate value for the roof of $150,000. As you can see, we received 4 proposals, and I'm happy to let Mr. Paquette answer any questions, specific questions you may have.
One of the things is, does this proposal include moving the compressor up to the floor?
I have that right here from Oconee Refrigeration.
So
As a
it'd be
separate-
in addition to?
Yeah.
Yes.
What would be the process of moving it? Would it be, we move the compressor first? Or do we strip the roof and then move the compressor, or? Because I hate to drill
The
into
gentleman
the
from
roof.
Oconee Refrigeration said it can actually happen either way.
Yeah,
So talking to him, whoever got the roof bid, I was gonna kind of give them each other's numbers and let them work together instead of me being the middleman. They
Yeah.
can kind of hash it out when the best time is to do whatever they need to do. He can come up and cut afterwards, or he can do it and then they can just,
so it's always nicer to seal around the pipes.
yes.
Right.
So I'm gonna let them figure that out
Yeah.
once we, get going, so.
Well, maybe we should take and suggest that we want to have it moved first.
Yeah,
But it's, hate to have a brand new
No, I know.
roof,
And
and you put a
cut it
hole in
down.
it, and then the
Right.
manufacturer warranty comes up and say, oh, you made put a hole in it, and
Right.
we're not covering it anymore. You know, if you put it up there first, and then they seal around the pipes, that'll be probably a safer warranty aspect for us. Thank you.
I only have one more left.
It's okay.
So I think when we were projecting the 150, we were projecting this part of it as well, aren't we?
Not
No.
initially, no. No, we did talk about moving this,
Yeah.
but that wasn't part of that 150 initially.
Okay, because I knew we brought it up to do it at the same time.
Correct, we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even with this, we're still 30,000, 29,000 under. That's a good thing.
That's a great thing.
Do you have a feel of how much, I know we've had some leaks, and I know you're projecting here some plywood issues.
Yeah, I actually called Gary, because he was here when they did this roof, and he said they did replace a lot of the plywood.
Yeah,
So I think we kind of have to think worst case scenario on that. And that's why, Therian, they were both pretty close, the last two,
right,
but their price per sheet of plywood is a lot cheaper, so
yep.
knowing what happened with this part of the roof, that we figured that was the better way to go.
Have we had Therian do any work for,
We have an Interlakes.
have it in our list?
Yeah.
They've done some town buildings, I think they did the fires, did they do the fire station?
Karen did, yes.
And they also, I think they did the electric department too, so.
They're very reputable.
Yep. Yeah, it looks great. It's almost a $30,000 savings over the projection. And we get the compressor moved out as well.
And I, because this is kind of my first go around with this sort of thing,
Yep.
I talked to Chris about this stuff. When I got the quote from Oconee Refrigeration, I emailed it to him. I had him look it over and he said it was all good, so.
Yep.
They did good work.
Yeah, I'd let them talk to each other, but I would just let them with a caveat that you wanted.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that all the bases were covered. That's why I had Chris look at it. I want to make sure everything we talked about was being taken care of in the quote, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can have them come in and move all that stuff first, and then,
Yep.
once we know what their starting date, or if we pick. and
So
then-
Shannon, we'll be able to shut that down. There won't be any need for it during the summer.
Right.
Yeah, because that would make the most sense.
Who did this section over this? Who did this roof over this section of the building?
Melanson.
Okay. Because there were some issues, like we flooding
That was during.
during.
During
During the
Yeah.
construction.
Yeah,
They
when they
didn't
were
tarp it.
working on it, we had a heavy rain and,
Yep,
They went to lunch and it torrentially downpoured.
Yeah.
yep.
Right.
They're also very reputable and good company.
Yeah. And they took care of everything.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Great.
yep. So do we need a motion on this?
Yes, please.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the bid for Therian Company.
need this too, or no?
Um,
Or are we just doing the roof?
Just the
Just the
roof.
Just the roof, okay. I'll make the motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor? 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And the Laconia refrigeration, that's just the maintenance.
Information, right, part of the CIP.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Anything else, Tim?
All set?
Yep.
I'm all set, you are.
No, you can stay here all night if you want.
No, I'm good with that.
I'm not staying here all night.
Thanks very much, Tim.
Thank you.
Let's keep this
Have a
rolling.
good night.
Food services, RFP, Trish?
I just wanted to give the board with an update. We did get approval from the Department of Ed for the RFP, and it was sent to 6 companies. Also, as required by the Department of Ed and federal regulations, we advertised it in the Manchester Union Leader. It specifies that it must be in a statewide newspaper. The mandatory pre-proposal meeting was held on April 30th and was attended by 2 companies, Cafe Services, our current food service manager, and the Abbey Group, which is out of Vermont. So proposals are due on May 29th, and I will bring to the board at our June meeting a recommendation.
Thank you. Hiring update, Mary?
I had our Human Resource Director, Ashley Dolliff, just put together an update for the board. Shannon and her team have been incredibly busy going through the hiring process. And Shannon certainly can jump in here.
One more.
One more.
Did you need another one?
Mine.
Sorry. We have primary tier. There are 2 finalists at this stage, and I know that Dr. Bartlett is in the process of checking references, and that is, I have to say, is one of the hardest things, which sometimes is just busy people to be able to connect and get those reference checks completed, but certainly an essential part of the process. Mathematics, they have interviewed 4 candidates. 2 came in and did mini lessons with the students. There have been some additional applicants that have come in since the process started, and they are looking forward to meeting those applicants as well. It's a key position, and really, again, hiring is the most important for students. School nurse, 4 candidates will be interviewed this week. And school psychologist. So the school psychologist works both in Interlakes and in Ashland, and there were interviews going on this afternoon, which had representation from Ashland as well as representation from Interlakes on the committee. And so hopefully they will continue to move that forward. Any questions on the hiring process at this stage? And again, Shannon and the team of educators here have really been, their commitment again is always remarkable, and people definitely see that the process is important and that it is a good fit for the team of Ashland Elementary School. Ashley Dolliff did also just include below, just so that people are aware, that there is a benefits education session going on Wednesday, which is tomorrow. She'll be there sharing about contributions, as well as there'll be a representative from Health Trust.
Thank you. And that ties in with the next one, the update for an additional board meeting.
Yes, so we had talked about potentially having an additional board meeting at Plymouth Regional High School. The timing right now with their renovation project is not really conducive to a visit, and the suggestion was maybe that would be something in the fall when they're closer to completing the project and have a chance to catch their breath. They'd be able to give us more attention. So it may be something that we want to consider for October. I don't think we have to make that decision this evening, but that might be a nice opportunity. People are settled into the school year a little bit, to be able to go visit then. However, with the hiring piece, it would be beneficial to still have a second meeting on on the radar so that if we are able to complete the process of getting reference checks and I'm able to meet with candidates and we feel, we're ready to bring somebody forward, it would be good to bring some closure. So there is an SAU board meeting scheduled for the 15th. So if it would be possible to either meet prior to that meeting or after that meeting, I don't think it would be a terribly long meeting, but it would allow us, it's always good if we can bring closure and get somebody signed before potentially there are other opportunities.
Go through the whole process there.
Right, that's a painful experience. The SAU board meeting is at 6. I think the hard part is it's, unsure what time that will end. Some work has already been done for the SAU board meeting in terms of reorganization of the SAU board. But it is typically one that there is a non-public to just discuss personnel, so that, sometimes can be a little hard to determine an end time. Maybe a start time of 6:45 would be potential, or
5:45?
or 5:45.
Before or after? Oh, you're talking about posting it, I'm
Right.
sorry.
Right, so I think either way, there's just the potential of either being late to start or potentially waiting around to start.
Could you do our meeting first, before?
If that worked for the board.
Do you think 15 minutes? Probably more than enough. Could you just give us a description of the people?
I would think 15
and-
minutes might be, I think it's a pretty, or even.
Can we always just post it, or not postpone, I can't, recess the meeting until after
Right,
and reconvene
right.
afterwards?
Right,
If we don't have enough time?
Yeah, the problem with it early is we'd have to be somewhere else because we're
People are
gonna be
filtering
in
in.
a non-public, so we
Might be easier
can't
just
have
to
anybody else.
do it after.
Have it here.
Do it afterwards? That's fine too.
I don't know.
We just wouldn't have it
You can
start. time.
post it immediately following,
Immediately
that way you don't
following,
have to put
okay.
an exact,
Yeah.
6:45
Yeah.
time, you can put immediately following.
What's easier for you?
Couldn't be in the library here.
Is it easier for you to just do it right before the meeting? That way you
I
don't
think the
have to
challenge,
stay?
and I'm not sure
usually
you
go
need.
to the SAU meeting.
Right,
Right,
and I don't know
exactly.
that you
Yeah, let's
necessarily
do it
would even
before.
need to be in attendance. I think as
Okay.
long as the board was
Let's do it
comfortable with
before.
that, rather than have one more night out for Shannon and an already busy month.
And we have this room if you need this room too, right? If you needed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you don't need to be there,
Space.
then let's just do it afterwards.
So we'll post it immediately following the SAU board meeting scheduled for 6 PM.
Okay.
And that way the posting is, gives people plenty of notice, and we will look to see if we could do it here in the library.
That way we don't end up having to break up the meeting here if it comes out, they bring in 2 or 3 candidates.
Yeah, I just didn't want Shannon to have to hang around through the SAU
Right,
meeting.
right. And again, I think Shannon's done the hard work.
Sometimes it's a little difficult for me to get right out of work and
And get here early,
be
too.
here. at-
Such- yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm pushing it for 6:30, so, yeah,
Yeah. So we'll do it immediately following.
yeah.
Great. Thank you, that's very helpful.
Okay, end of school year calendar.
So that's attachment 5. So very painfully, I had to cancel school the Monday, the week before break. Quite frankly, it was, I think, one of the worst days that we've had all year long. We started with an early delay, but the feedback kept coming back that the roads just were not responding to the salt. And it was just an icy day all day. And so Shannon and I spoke, it does not make sense to us to bring students in beyond the June 15th, which is a Friday. Relative to staff, what we'd like to propose is that the staff makes up that additional day through professional learning and reading that they would schedule on their own. Our staff, again, are incredible. They do summer reading every summer that they engage in, and this is just an opportunity to kind of support that work. But I think it allows us to kind of stick with the schedule that we previously proposed.
Memorandum of understanding with the SAU 48.
So the Pemmy Baker board, it is currently still in policy and budget. They will, as a full board, the Pemmy Baker will be voting on it on May 15th. And the executive board for the SAU has approved it, and the full board will vote on it on May 31st. So again, positive feedback that things are going without concern, and we should have closure at the June meeting, which will be much appreciated. Also at the June meeting, one of the recommendations of the withdrawal study is to have a way of working with parents on how we support students in the transition, and continue to support at Plymouth Regional High School. So I will be working over the next month with Ms. Temporino and Dr. Bartlett to see if there's a way we can possibly look at potentially a stipend to be able to have somebody serve kind of as the facilitator of that. I think that in order to move that recommendation forward, we need to appoint someone that responsibility to help kind of manage that and make sure that that outreach is happening. And we can certainly talk more about it in June, but I just wanted to kind of at least, it's another aspect. The memorandum of understanding was one piece, but there was definitely another aspect of wanting to make sure we are connecting well with families and making sure that we're supporting that transition.
Excuse me. So next month we'll talk about it, but we bring some kind of
We'll bring a proposal.
format, or how what would be
Right.
the requirements of the person doing the job?
Right.
How many phone calls? and
Absolutely. How many
process.
meetings we're proposing and what kind of level of stipend we would be looking at. So we'll formalize that more, but I just wanted to at least let you know that that's part of the thought process of, it's one thing to complete the withdrawal study, it's another thing to make those recommendations come alive.
Yeah. Thank you. Next item is business of the board. Anything for the board members? No? Thank you. Business of superintendent, general operating expenses, Trish?
Yes, you have manifest 2014 in your packet. There's nothing unusual to report, but I would be happy to answer any questions.
We have a motion on manifest 2014. Renee? Second? Sandra? Are there any questions on the manifest for Trish? Seeing none, all in favor? 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
The withdrawal from the health insurance expendable trust of $15,047. Trish?
Yes, during the 17-18 budget development process, the board discussed withdrawing down on the health insurance trust fund that has been sitting for quite some time as a means to offset some of insurance expenses. And the discussion included over the next 3 budget years. I wanted to bring that back to your attention to see if that is still the direction that you wanted to go in, and if so, if you would like to vote and recommend that, I can then forward that to the treasurer, Brian Chalmers.
Okay. Does everybody remember the conversations? Okay. Take a motion to approve. Steve?
Second.
Emily? All in favor? 4-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is policy, third and final reading, policy 9368, meeting conduct. Take a motion to approve. Sandra? Second. Renee? All in favor? 4-0. Thank you. Policy second reading, policy 5133, dress code. I usually have to know.
Yeah, you want to just do them all at once?
Yeah. Then policy 6140.1, objection to course material. Policy 6181, distance education, online education, e-learning. Policy 6183, health education and exemption from instruction. Policy 6183.1, health and sex education exemption. Policy 6184, non-educational surveys and questionnaires. This is the second reading of all these policies. I'll take a motion to approve all the policies as presented. Renee? Second, Sandra? Any questions or comments on any of those policies? Not all in favor? 4-0. on all the policies.
And we'll make sure next month we mixed it up again, so
It's okay.
that we group them together.
Yep. Privilege of the floor, number 2. Anything from the floor? Seeing nothing. Announcements, Tuesday, May 15th, 6 PM, SAU 2 board meeting at the Ashland School cafeteria. With the Ashland School Board meeting to immediately follow. Tuesday, June 5th, Ashland School Board at Ashland Elementary here in the library. Policy Review Committee at 5:30, School Board meeting at 6:30. Tuesday, July 10th, Ashland School Board meeting, Media Center here. That one will have a Policy Review Committee and School Board meeting. We'll decide probably on June if we actually need to have that meeting. But as of right now, it's on the books. Do we have any need for a
We do.
non-public? Okay, for staff, as it is.
For staff.
Okay. You have a need for a non-public for staff personnel, RCA 91-A:3 to AC. I'll take a motion to move. Sandra? Second? Renee? Deb is not here. Renee, you want to take the poll?
Sure. Steve?
Yes.
Sandra?
Yes.
Glenn?
Yes.
Me? Yes.
Okay, thank you. We're in non-public.